Knucklemania 3, this is the weigh-in recap show, predictions, and the betting breakdown. For those of you that don't know, I am the host of Bare Knuckle Bets, which is an exclusive on the BKFC app. I'm bringing you the first ever BKFC weigh-in recap show on the channel, so make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe too. Tomorrow, Knucklemania 3 goes down. I'm doing a full card fight companion, so make sure you guys tune into that. We're going to start it off. First fight on the main card here. It's Chevy Bridges and Kevin Croom. Now, because I'm actually involved with Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, I got a little treat for you guys. I have the actual weigh-in stream, which I'll bring up in the background here. Now, Kevin Croom making his way to the scales. He is my official pick. I picked him over Chevy Bridges throughout the week. Kind of think he can get the knockout. Very fast starter, a guy that's kind of reckless at times with his stand-up, but he's got a lot of experience in the fight game, and he's a guy that can definitely take a big punch. Chevy Bridges, 1-1 here in Bare Knuckle. He's a solid southpaw who I do see with a good enough boxing game and not an easy out. He also very shredded, in good shape for this fight. You can see he's got the delts popping. He's here for a fight. I see this as a scrappy matchup, maybe one of the better fights of the night, honestly. This could be crazy. This whole card's going to be a banger. I got a pick still with Kevin Croom after seeing the face-offs and all. I do think higher level MMA experience, I think the trickier striker and the pressure style will lead him to a knockout win. I'm kind of thinking we go third round KO for the side of Kevin Croom in this fight. Good matchup here. I think this is a fun one to start it off. The odds for the fight I will bring up as well. Let's jump here. Betting odds, Croom minus 400, nasty wide favorite. Bridges at plus 300. Going with the guy with the higher level fight experience. I think that's a good way to play it here. 1-1 versus 1-0 in Bare Knuckle. Kevin Croom undefeated, 1-0. I liked his debut, and I think he wins this one against a game Chevy Bridges, and which should be a good first one to start off the main card. Let's keep running up. Let's get to this next matchup between Joshua Moreno and Christian Torres. I think these two guys are going to bring the heat in this matchup also. This whole card is bangers, man. A lot of the bare knuckle fights, you see some epic wars. It's a common play for bare knuckle fighting championships to have super entertaining matchups. Let's bring it up right here. This is Torres. Dude's jacked. Jacked. I've been picking the side of Moreno to win it. But I'll be honest, Torres looks incredible on the scale. And he's an intimidating force, a guy that seems to be in very good shape. I knew he was a live dog throughout the week, and I mentioned him even on the Bare Knuckle Bet show being extremely scrappy. Moreno on the other side, could he be a bit more technical? The range advantage is going to be a factor you'll see when they face off. There's a height difference, but obviously the physique's one way, one-sided. Big favor towards the side of Torres because he looks jacked. But you see, long guy, taller guy, a little bit better, even in the pro boxing ranks to bare knuckle. He's done a little more, a little bit better. Like he seems a little bit slicker and technical, but Torres is a junkyard dog brawler who does not quit and constantly brings the heat. So I do think this is a tough fight. Definitely one I could see going longer between these warriors. So I'm going to go competitive fight. Still gonna stick with my guy, Moreno, but if you have to say who won the face-off, who won the weigh-in, it's got to be Torres on the opposite side, looking like a damn bodybuilder. Now, as far as the lines, not crazy wide. Moreno's minus 260, Torres plus 200. Torres is a solid underdog, guys. I'll tell you that straight up. The pick, Moreno, I'll be honest, the confidence more on the lower side. Even when I was debating between picking these guys, I called it a coin flip. I think it's a very competitive matchup. I'm going Moreno off technical skill, but Torres is going to be hard to fucking beat and expect a good one. And if you're betting Torres as a dog, I do think he is live here. 100%. I'll tell you that straight. Good fight. I really like this matchup between these two. Let's keep running to the next one. Let's find it here. Yes. This is Reno versus Van Sickle. We got no picture even for Van Sickle because believe this is going to be his combat sports debut as a professional. His opponent, veteran of mixed martial arts. That's a factor. Let's pull this up right here. But first, We'll get the screen all filled out so you guys can see it in full without my face taking up half the damn thing. There's Van Sickle. I mean, the dude looks tough. He's got, the cool dreads. Intense, but like there's literally nothing on him that I could find through the internet. I do know one thing. He weighed 149 before the weigh-ins. So he's definitely, a little bit smaller for this weight class. A guy that could probably drop down one more weight class. You're fighting against Reino, an experienced MMA fighter who you're going to see in a second, has a clear size advantage, a guy that can fight out of both stances, Muay Thai experience, as I said, MMA, Bellator veteran, Combate veteran, hasn't fought since 2019 though, so he's had a little over 3 years outside of the ring, and this is his first fight without the gloves. So this type of matchup here, when you get in bare knuckle fighting championships, you don't necessarily know. Van Sickle could have, some amateur boxing fights, some backyard fights. You got no clue. He might be nasty with the hands. And note this, he tried out for bare knuckle fighting championships and he was signed from the tryout. So obviously something they like seeing there. Reino has the pedigree though. So you have to lean towards the side of Gastano Reino to get it done. He's the bigger guy. I like the size advantage. I'm picking him over Van Sickle. But it's not, I think, like a tremendous bet. And you'll see in a second why. Because the lines between these guys, holy shit, minus 900. Van Sickle plus 600. If I could find anything on Van Sickle, that would be tremendous. I'm looking through his Instagram. I'd never seen him hitting pads. I've only seen him working out on there. So I have no clue, skill set wise, what to expect. How can I pick him? Reino, I'm not overly impressed by his stand-up skills from his mixed martial arts run. But enough so I got to pick him here. But I wouldn't be betting Reino. If you're picking Van Sickle to bet on, it's a blind bet. Because you have no fucking clue. It's like playing roulette and hoping for the best. Could he pull through at plus 600? It's a great line. But I don't feel great about it. I couldn't tell you guys to go and bet that one with any bit of confidence on my side. I wouldn't tell you to bet on either one of these guys. Chill. Watch this fight. I think it's a good one. We shall see, because so many unknowns with this matchup right here. Let's keep running up the card. We got more. We got more action. This next fight I like a lot. We don't have it in like the perfect order over here. So we're jumping through hoops, getting it through. Tapology, get on point, man. They don't got the actual lineup that Bare Knuckle is bringing. All right, let me get the timestamp for when these two jumped on the scales. There we go. Shrink myself down. And let's jump on this fight right here. Cutter versus Santiago. It's a good fight, man. I've been picking Will Santiago throughout the week to win by KO. But you'll see Noah Cutter is in shape, man. He's coming to fight. He's coming to fight. He's no quitter. He's an experienced fighter in bare knuckle fighting championships. Scraps. Good straight shots, can take shots, definitely will be one of those guys that will take one to land one. Concern is Santiago seems to have some real power. If he lands one of those shots over the top, it could put the lights out of Cutter. One thing you're going to see as they face off, and you've already seen on the scale, a little more, visible body fat for Santiago. There's also a bit of a size advantage for Cutter. He's the taller man of the two, more experienced in bare knuckle fighting championships. But obviously Santiago, the guy that's on the come up right now. I like Santiago's punching power enough so to pick him here, but I think Cutter is going to bring the heat to him in the early rounds. Santiago might be able to find the knockout, third, fourth, fifth. Could see it also going the distance. I still like Santiago to win and am picking him, but I got to tell you, man, Noah Cutter looked fucking good on the scales. And he's got that size advantage. So, bit of a concern? Yeah, for sure. Cutter right now is plus 250 as a dog. These lines are wide. So, with bare knuckle, you can find some of the lines may resemble professional boxing. Others will resemble MMA. Sometimes like what you see in Bellator. There's one guy that's a little bit stronger of a favor, but that does not mean Noah Cutter is no shot in this fight. The odds might be a bit wide, but minus 325 to plus 250. If you're looking at it in bare knuckle fighting championships, I don't think that's a terrible line. Santiago, I am picking him to win. Noah Cutter, the plus 250 dog. I'm going to say this. I see Santiago catching him with a punch over the top and putting his lights out. But Noah Cutter is no easy out for Will Santiago here. He's definitely not fighting some guy that's a complete walkover. Noah Cutter could be live too as a dog. These fights are fucking epic, man. I'm really excited for this matchup right here specifically too. This is going to be a good one. Santiago, let's see if he keeps that undefeated streak. I'm going to say yes, but we shall find out tomorrow. Let's keep running up to the ladies' fight. The females going after it. Two very attractive ladies about to throw down. Oh, this is a good one, man. This is a good fight. Let me pull up the face-off. You guys are going to be blessed with this face-off. You're already getting a teaser if you're looking at your screen right now. So let me pull it to the right time. Here we go. All right. I'm already blessing you all. I'm blessing you guys with this face-off right here. Ready? There's Sigala. Sigala throws the shirt off and into the crowd. They love it. She's got the massive breast. Is that a disadvantage in the fight, though? If one of those things gets hit, who knows what the fuck could happen? I do feel like having massive breasts like that, though, it's got to be a little bit of a factor in your punching, right? It kind of gets in the way a bit because she got some large size breasts. Your little opponent, more average size breasts. Hinshaw, biggest concern I've seen with her is she fights like a fucking psycho out the gate to kill right away. I love to watch it. And if you can run through your opponents like that, fantastic. But nothing is telling me she's got the absolute one-touch dynamite. And her opponent has been long through bare knuckle fighting championships with solid fighters, mixing it up, going longer, scrapping, being able to sit in there and take big punches, land one, take one, scrap, throw down, losing decisions, right? Still a losing record. But I have to say, concern. There's concern in this fight for me. The pick, it's been tricky. I've been all week, I'll tell you straight out, I've been going Segala. I've been going the side of the tits here. She's a big underdog too, which I guess you could say, you know, maybe that's a little bit of a factor. I also might be getting blindsided by the boobs there, but Segala at plus 220, tough as fuck, been consistent in bare knuckles, shows me she can pace things out. I think she can get her hand raised in this one in a competitive fight with Hinshaw if she can survive Hinshaw's Tasmanian Devil Storm early. Because that's what Hinshaw did in her debut. She blitzed her opponent. Literally didn't stop punching. If you fight like that and you get into a second round midway through, I don't think the gas tank can hold up because she's literally punching herself out, essentially looking for the KO. She was getting tired before the stoppage in that last fight. You can't do that against Sigala. And seeing that, I definitely am concerned she does it again. I'm going Sigala upset. I even think she might get the knockout. Plus 220, live underdog in this one. Sigala to get the hand raised. I'm going the side, Sigala underdog, hand raised to pull this thing out. Interesting matchup. Let's keep on running up the card. This next one is a very familiar face. Greg Hardy, the Prince of fucking War, the Prince of Pain, I think, in this matchup. He's fighting Josh Watson, who's 1-1 in bare knuckle, got flatlined bad in his debut, but then came back like a savage in his second fight and got a nice knockout win. Greg Hardy has never fought without the gloves, but I know he can pop with serious power, and it's going to take one in this fight. We'll pull up the weigh-ins here, and you guys will see a little something from Greg Hardy. You're going to see, first thing, is the pure fucking size of it. There's Watson on the scale. We just missed half of them. But listen, we're here for the big show. We're here for Greg Hardy. His opponent, Watson, thick dude, shorter guy, powerful, tough human being, but outmatched here athleticism-wise, boxing skill-wise, power-wise. I think he's running into ferocious fist from Greg Hardy right here. Let's pull Greg in. Let's just get him off. Let's get this face-off started. Greg Hardy, 295. 295. He was cutting 30 pounds to make that UFC 265 limit. There's no weight cutting needle in bare knuckle. It's like boxing. It's open weight. He's nearly 300. He's going to sleep Josh Watson in the first round. I really feel like Greg Hardy's the lock of the card. I think he's going to go out there and get a quick KO. I don't see this fight being competitive. I think he's going to run Watson down. This is going to be one of those beat down type matchups. I'm excited for the fight nonetheless. But I think it's a bit of a beatdown. I might have to keep myself small here so I can bring up the odds and not distract you guys with my massive fucking face. All right, let's see here. Lines for Greg Hardy and Watson. Minus 600 Greg Hardy. It's wide, man. Watson plus 425. He's getting sacrificed. Watson's a fucking tough man, and I'm impressed at his sophomore appearance in bare knuckle fighting championships getting a KO. But, dude, you can't beat Greg Hardy. I'm sorry. He's outmatched. He's seriously outmatched in this fight. He's going to get into real trouble. We're going Greg Hardy Prince of fucking pain in this one. And I think he delivers for the fans, gets himself a win in bare knuckle, which maybe, just maybe, is Greg Hardy's best combat sport. He won in pro boxing against Rahman on short notice, even though he, outweighed him by 100 fucking pounds. I think he'll do it here by KO and explosive power on display. Looking forward to this matchup. Let's keep running. Next fight. Oh, you're going to love this fight. I'm telling you guys, you're going to fucking love this fight. John Dodson versus Jared Grant. Listen, John the Magician Dodson back in action. I've been picking him throughout the week. John Dodson has never, ever been finished as a professional. His opponent, Jared Grant's a nasty bare knuckle fighter, though. I'll tell you straight up. He just had the interim belt, and he lost to Reggie Barnett Jr. Reggie Barnett, the guy who took the interim belt from him, is one of the best fighters in BKFC. He's an absolute monster. John Dodson, I think, is on his way to fighting Reggie Barnett real soon. We'll pull up the weigh-ins between these two. Let's get the timestamp up. All right. Let's get it. There's Grant right there. Dude's tough. I mean, he was the former interim champion. He was on a nice win streak. He's not a guy you can count out. He boxes well, man. He has, I'd say a bit more of a boxing style for bare knuckle fighting. You see a variation. You see some guys come in looking more so like boxers, where you see other ones looking more so like scrappers, like real dog fighters. They come in looking to clinch more, a little bit more of an unorthodox punching style. Grant's a guy that's pretty slick with the hands. Now, on the opposite side, when you throw John Dodson out there, you got a guy that's a fucking menace to society. I mean, he's got massive KO power. He's super explosive and fast. The guy closes the gap like that. I think he gets another knockout here. First BKFC fight was a knockout. This one here, a knockout again. I think goes a little longer. I think we can maybe go into the second or third round potentially, but I'm going John Dodson by KO. The speed advantage will be too much, and I really think he might have found his home in bare knuckle. He's still fighting MMA at a good level and winning. He's fighting over in Ryzen last time out and getting a W. This is a guy that's extremely high level. John Dodson's going to get a knockout here. Too fast, too explosive, too powerful. John Dodson for the win. Picking him here to get it done. Let's keep running up to not even the next fight. What am I saying? Let's keep running up to the odds here, though. John Dodson's minus 450. See, this is what I don't like. Jared Grant should not be a plus 350 dog. This fight right here is like a 2-1 at best. I mean, this is the former interim champ. He's getting slept on by the books because, obviously, of John Dodson's long MMA tenure and success and extreme durability. I am picking John Dodson to win. I just wish the line was a little bit more playable because minus 450 is nasty fucking wide. Unfortunate, but at minus 450, that's a legit pick. I see him getting it done, and I'm calling KO for John the Magician Dodson. Let's keep running up. I think we've arrived at it. Yeah, it's co-main event time. The face-off between these two was fucking tremendous. Now, I've been blowing people's fucking minds picking Diego Sanchez to win against Austin Trout. And hear me out for a second. Austin Trout's a nasty boxer. He's past his prime in boxing. And I'm not saying Diego isn't past his prime in fighting either. He's not at his athletic pinnacle. But he's been fighting with the 4-ounce gloves forever. Trout's wearing 8 to 10s majority of his career. That's a different game. The spacing and timing is different. Austin Trout doesn't have that same experience with the small gloves, and he's never been clinched up. Diego Sanchez is a nasty wrestler, and I definitely think he's got some solid clinch fighting that he needs to employ in this matchup. The lines, I'll bring them in a moment. We'll first look at these guys on the scales. We'll watch the face-off. It was a fun face-off, too, because they were jawing at each other a bit. Let me get the timestamp of these face-offs right here. 23-23. All right. Let's pull Diego up. Let's start him off. There's Diego Sanchez. Yes, I know. You're going to say, what? He doesn't look in great shape. He looks, Listen, he's past the athletic prime, but you can't sleep on Diego's toughness. This is a guy who, against Kevin Lee, gave him hell. Yes, Lee hurt his knee early in that fight. But Diego Sanchez went 3 rounds and overperformed. You can't count Diego out. He seems motivated and excited to be out there. Austin Trout could potentially break his hand. When you're only fighting with those big gloves, you don't even know how the impact's going to be without the big gloves on. Is Austin Trout fully focusing in on, I'm a bare knuckle fighter now? Or is this, I'm coming to bare knuckle fighting, I'm a boxer, I should run these MMA guys over? Because it doesn't work like that. Without the gloves, the game changes. Yes, this guy is the better technical boxer, and you couldn't doubt it for a second. I mean, he's been in there with Canelo Alvarez, Erislan De Lara, both Charlo brothers, Jarrett Hurd. That's high-level experience. I mean, he beat Miguel Cotto several years back. That's a huge win. But that's in professional boxing. That's not in bare knuckle fighting. And his game is developed and based upon fighting with gloves. This is now BKFC inside of the squared circle. Could he go out there, perform tremendous? Yes. And we could have a threat in this weight class, somebody to watch on the come up. Or does Diego Sanchez constantly press him, get up in his face, and give him the trickiest fight of his life? Here they were jawing at each other. I'll see if we can get the audio. These guys jawing back and forth. Good smack talk, a little back and forth. I like the intensity from Diego. He seems ready to go and fight. This is a huge opportunity for him here in bare knuckle. I like what Diego said there. You ain't never been in a dog fight. Pretty much, saying, listen, you've been fighting boxing. You ain't been in a dog fight. MMA brings the dog fights. It's not all that often that you see those type of dog fights in present day professional boxing. I'm going against the grain and going Sanchez, and I understand. It could be the worst fucking pick of all time. But I'll ride with Diego to shock the fucking world. I'm not sleeping on him. You got minus 2,500. There's no respect for Diego on the lines. To plus 1,200. There's no respect for Diego whatsoever with the betting odds here. Minus 2,500. This is not professional boxing. I'd expect these lines of pro boxing. It's bare knuckle fighting. It's not the same. It doesn't perfectly transfer. I know there's plenty of pro boxers out there that if they did jump to bare knuckle, I think they struggle. Especially against guys that are nasty in the clinch, that aren't going to just fight you on the outside. And that is exactly what Diego Sanchez should be. We shall find out. I'm picking Diego to get it done. I'm going against the grain. I'm going with a huge underdog, and we'll see what happens. People saying this is a complete mismatch and it's not close, yada, yada, yada. Don't buy the bullshit. It's still a fight. And you can't count Diego Sanchez out of any fight. It's not a boxing match. It's bare knuckle fighting. Let's jump to the main event of the evening. Guys, if you haven't, smash the likes. And if you're new, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships weigh-in recap show and predictions. So I'm loving it. Lorenzo Hunt, the pick over Mike Richman. Something that is a massive concern. You can see latest weigh-in 155, right? Mike Richman had previously in his MMA career fighting down at bantamweight. Lorenzo Hunt is a guy that's a light heavyweight, fought at 185. He's not a guy fighting at bantamweight and then bulking up. He's a naturally big human, 6'3" to 5'9". There's a big size difference between these two. It's definitely a factor. And what's, a cool random note is I was at Lorenzo Hunt's professional MMA debut in Tampa by some fluke shot, and look at him now as the champion in BKFC. He's a monster, and I think that this is a huge hurdle to climb that Mike Richman's not going to be ready for. He's a good fighter, but I think his best successes will be even down a weight class. This is a monster in Lorenzo Hunt that I think is going to end up knocking him out. But we'll pull up the scales for this one. There's Mike Richman. Got the signature stash, the moustache. He rocks the stash well. The Marine Richman. He's a tough motherfucker. He's a good boxing guy, good bare knuckle boxing guy, good from range, good punches. I like the skill set. I just don't like the matchup. I think he would succeed down a weight class. Still, quality muscle tone for, a guy with a little excess pudge on him, but he's still got some mass. He's not a small dude, but the natural structure of him, he was all the way down at 35 at one point. Lorenzo Hunt is a much larger human being between the two. And we'll see Lorenzo just a second here. He's the champion of the world, and he comes out like the bare knuckle champion should with, a little bit of swagger. There he is. He's got the belt on backwards. He's got some brass knuckles around his neck. Maybe that's if Mike Richman and his brother try to jump him or something. They'll throw those on just to create some havoc. He's got the gold around. He's got the gold jacket. Everything's gold. This is the champion vibe that he's bringing. Lorenzo Hunt. Let's see him on the scale, though, here. He stays suited up for this one. He's not concerned about the weigh-in. He's screaming here, man. We should probably put the audio on. He's already talking smack. These guys are already drawn. I'm sorry I'm talking over the fucking audio. It might sound weird. Listen, so the pick is Lorenzo Hunt. Size, big factor. Power, big factor. His ability to close the gap and do damage, big factor. Come on. I got to ride with Lorenzo. I got to go the size edge. I got to go the power edge. I got to go Lorenzo Hunt. And still, they're looking to vacate, or excuse me, not vacate. They're looking to, fight for the belt and get rid of one of the interim belts. Get rid of Mike Richman. So they're going to unify. Losing the word over here. I got to go with Lorenzo to win it. We'll pull up the betting lines too so you guys can get a taste of these odds, right? Lorenzo Hunt right now, who is the bare knuckle world champion, is minus 300 as the favorite. Mike Richman plus 240 is the dog. He's a tough fight, but this is one that Lorenzo Hunt, I really believe, shines in. I do think it's a bit of a stylistic matchup that's good, right? But the size difference is going to be the biggest factor. And without the gloves on, a bigger dude landing a big shot, it's going to be lights out. That's how it's going to go. BKFC, there's no gloves. The knuckles are fully exposed. It's straight hands, really. And then you got the clinch fighting. So, super fun matchup between Hunt and Mike Richman. Before I send you guys off, though, I do want to give you a little bit of a parlay. Unfortunately, these lines have gotten crazy fucking wide over here, and I got to shrink myself down for the parlay section. All right, let's do a parlay to finish things out here. Now, I'm going to go with the high confidence pick, Mike Richman. I'm going to ride that up. I got to go Greg Hardy on the slate. And I feel like a good addition then is going to be John Dodson. They're big favorites. But I do think they got a fair shot of coming through. Right? $100 will make you 83. Is that the best line of all time? No. But it's definitely something you can make a little bit happen with that I'm feeling extraordinarily good about. And I'm not telling you, listen, just bet this risky play. If you want to go, and add something in, I think a Santiago could be a guy that you add, brings you up to like plus 139, nearly plus 140. I'd be cautious towards adding the Moreno fight. But if I went Kevin Crew, maybe I'm making that happen. Plus 200. If you go in dogs, I would rather money line it. But for the sake of the hype, I'll throw this down. Then you get plus 869. Guys, I'm not telling any of you to parlay things up. I think money line bets are the bread and butter. I think they're your best way to go. Keep it on the smarter side for bare knuckle fighting championships. Ultimately, I think it's going to be a fun card. As I said, I'll be live for the whole thing. Let me know what you thought of the weigh-in recap show with the live video in the background. Did you like that feature, or do you just prefer the still images? Definitely let me know. Much love, people. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, guys.